All right, we are back. We are back. We are back.
So, how amoral would it be to use this to make like a bunch of jerky, though?
Okay, I need further. Are we doing this with the bodies that we have just killed? Are we doing this with
No.
other bodies, but just sort of appropriating the sacred funerary preparation space? Also, how sanitary is that? Because that's because of all the fishman guts that are already uh being pulled out at this point.
Worry about it, V. You're immune to diseases.
So, what did y'all find on your voyage? Oh, just a whole bunch of fish jerky.
Mm.
Weird. It was completely empty when we got there. This big old pile of fish jerky right on this weird like table that they set out for us, but like they knew that we were coming. Huh. Weird. Anyway, don't worry about it. It's quite good.
As a reminder, there is in fact a food storage building here. Oh, actually, Sasha, you missed this when I described what sort of structures were in this community. There was a laboratory. There was the funerary amphitheater. There were residences. There is a floating dock. And there's food storage space. And then there was some kind of like manufacturing or like trade artisan style space that only Dorothy only really explored the lab and the funerary space thus far.
Yeah, I don't care about food. Doesn't help me in particular. So why would I care?
You don't, but Foxglove does. I would guess.
Yeah, Foxpub probably has already found the food and is gorging herself.
Well, the food is underwater.
Oh. Hmm. Okay.
Yes. Also, dog also needs to eat.
Yes, I have animal food.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Although, to be fair, you also probably don't think about what dog needs that often.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel so bad about this.
Foxglove. Does Foxglove feed the dog?
Yes, Foxglove feeds the dog. They will. Rats will bring food to the elderly and the young in their mischief. So I just wanted to give some rat facts. Rat fact.
Okay. So V, you were headed to. You were just gonna make your way, heading to the fishing village.
Yep. I'm gonna reconvene with the ship and pass along the information that it is safe to bring it in, and also I think the plan had been to reclaim the creche in some sort of way. Um,
Well, we didn't even know what was going on there.
we didn't know, and now I think we're just sort of looting it. So it'll be good to have those storerooms closer, so the trip to and fro to get supplies into the ship isn't quite as long.
Who are you explaining this to?
Um,
I mean,
so,
the sort of like senior officers, other than yourselves, are Bear Me, who's acting as the quartermaster, Hanar, who is your like uh, bosun, and then Maybell, who's the like pit fighter trainer.
I'd be saying this to Hanar, I think, and not in so many words. It would just be like, hey, the creche is is safe to approach now, and we should do so.
All right, I'll have the crew take her in.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Did I? No, I need. What I really need to do is put the stats for the ship into the document we have that has the ship. That would be useful for
Probably be a
what to
good
do.
place for that.
Could be
Yeah.
handy.
Yeah, all I've got right now is the cruise stats. Okay, so let's see. Where is the galley? Travel speed of 6. Okay. So,
Just slightly faster than Gentleman Moose.
yeah. The like benefit of the ship for the most part is, that it can travel 24 hours without any need to sleep. But I mean, assuming you have sufficient crew.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see, 48 miles, so that is 8 hours. Yeah. Okay, so it'll be 8 hours for the ship to dock at the creche.
Okay. I would like to heal some of my wounds. 'Cause I have some.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do that.
Fair.
Let's look up the rules for natural healing since there's such a long break.
Yeah, I guess
definitely
that's a total of 18 hours, the time between when Madame V left and the Quadlibet arrives. So
Yeah, and I have some.
See, natural healing is on page 212.
Yeah, okay. So, special character regain 1 vitality per career level per hour of rest, and 1 wound per day of rest, so long as he restricts himself to light activities during that time. I'm not sure that any of y'all are resting is the thing, right? Well, once you get back to the ship, V, you can certainly rest.
Yeah.
So you can heal 8 vitality times your level.
Sweet. Which is
Um,
4?
What?
5.
5?
I'm guessing that, Sasha, you did not level up V in between, which is fair. It's fairly complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And so Viper, I don't know. I guess we'll give you the same 8 out. Well, what do you get up to between, like, the V leaving, or where we left the two of you? Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Actually, since the two of you were underwater, you probably didn't hear the gunshot.
Oh no.
Yeah. So.
Although Foxglove and I have our emotions connected, do I feel like a spike of fear from Foxglove at any point?
Yeah, I would say you probably do.
Okay. And I guess since I talk rat, she and I will have a conversation that she heard a loud noise that she hears in battle when Madame V is fighting, and then silence.
That sounds about right.
Hmm. Well, there's nothing to. Don't really know if there's anything I can do about that. I will let Viper know, however. That this rat gossip chain that we have going on.
I have to relay information from the only competent party member.
And since I am only 1 level of tainted, and my skill points refresh after every scene, you want me to see if I can. How many wounds do you have?
That would still be 4 because those take a whole day.
Yeah, 4 out of what?
19.
I'm gonna touch you a bit. Just gonna give you some. Yeah. Is this a different scene from the funerary rites, or is this the same scene?
This is a different scene.
Okay. Okay, let's see how many grades of tainted I get, because at this moment I auto cast the cure wound spell with my bonus. Okay. Uh let's see. Okay. So you get one wound healed. Um and then
I'm just gonna check what the cat's doing.
okay, well I'll keep doing this. Two
Oh,
wounds healed.
I was at 6 instead of 4 because I used that action die earlier.
Yes. Okay, you got 3 wounds healed. And then I got another grade of tainted. I will go until I'm tainted 3. And this only takes a full action, so this is just mere seconds. So we don't have to worry about how long this is taking. Yeah, and then I'm tainted again, but you also get another wound point. So that's 4 wounds in total healed.
1 to 10 of 19.
Good, you're not at death's door anymore.
And now you're at 3 levels of taint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just spending that battery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, since that only took seconds, as you put it, what does that look like as you're healing Viper this much?
Well, like Viper said, with her activating her innate healing, you can like see the wounds knit together in real time, and the feel like it's very, very warm, like almost to the point of pain. Actually, there's probably is some pain as the skin stretches over exposed skin and the like. Um, and I don't know in particular what happens. Is it more wood than skin? I don't know. I'm aiming to like heal like, so if it's a woody patch, then it's wood, and if it's a skin patch, it's skin. However, you know, I don't have control over that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't. When she heals naturally, it comes back as wood, but this is different. So.
Okay. I guess it probably is probably like sometimes it is one and sometimes it is the other, and I wonder if maybe the way the magic interacts with Viper's natural healing, that like it doesn't always fit the pattern that Viper is expecting. So like you will have spots on like your limbs where you will have flesh scars from the magic
Just
in the
middle
wood.
of my fully wooden arm.
Yeah.
Just a small patch of skin.
Yeah. Oh, very strange.
I don't think it scars actually.
Ah. Just heals tidy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think yeah. Yes.
All right. So then what do the two of you get up to after that?
Mischief.
Probably a lot of just floating.
You're hanging with the whales?
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, waiting for V to show up with the boat.
Yeah.
And
We'll have
Dorothy?
to find some to eat.
I think Dorothy's just gonna have a bit of a lie down next to Dog and Foxglove. Make sure Foxglove's okay. Like in 2 different scenes, she just like burned through half her spell points and then almost all of them. So I think she's like kind of exhausted, even though she, like her body isn't exhausted. Like when you spend the day reading academic texts, she just wants to veg out in front of the television.
just sit and cuddle with her rat soul. And whatever that furry thing that she rides is. Okay, so Viper, you can see the Quad Labette pulling into the harbor, and V, were you resting in the captain's quarters?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a knock at your door, and as you come awake, you can see that the sun has begun to rise. As you know, and actually, in fact, I don't think the sun has begun to rise. I think it is morning by this point, right? Because it has been 18 hours since the fight. Mm-hmm. Right? And you can hear Hanar's voice at the door. Captain, we're here.
Ah, marvelous, thank you. It's a little weird to have slept through the morning, but guess it was more strenuous than I thought. Yeah, I'll put myself together and head out on deck.
Do you, out of curiosity, considering V's like mindset the previous night, does she give herself any sort of like pep talk or any sort of anything to give herself a bit of steel, even if it's, you know, just is there anything out of her usual routine based upon where she was at the previous night?
I think that this was a detail that I wanted to mention but forgot to. I think that when Madame V rode up to the ship, she was singing, like they heard her before they saw her, and I think she does like warm-ups in the mornings just out of practice, and this morning it is she is using snippets from like she's using snippets from the antagonist role that she played at the beginning of the season, to try and get some of that bite back.
Okay. So you come out on deck, and you can see, as you look across the natural harbor that the Crash sits in, the ship is pulled up to a fairly extensive floating dock, and some of the crew are on it, beginning to tie the ship in place. Viper is lounging in the waves with a pod of whales.
Mm-hmm.
And the two that were accompanying the ship quickly swim over to join her and the others. There's no sign of Dorothy. But yeah, so what do you all want to do? The ship is here, the crew is here. You've got the run of the place. The bodies are taken care of. Actually, I guess that's another thing you notice, Fee, is that there's no sign of the dead.
Interesting. V like leans over the edge of the ship and goes, "Ahoy, Viper!"
She sort of snorts awake because she was just asleep, she was basically just a living pool float at that point.
Was she sawing logs?
Huh?
But
Oh,
waves. Yeah.
oh, wow! But that was fast. Let me go get Dorothy.
Absolutely.
Ship snuck up on you.
That's been a good sleep. Damn. Yeah. I think that V is going to disembark and do a little bit of exploring because she didn't do that earlier. And see. I think she brings Quartermaster Baramy, is that right? With her, because Baramy has the best sense of what can be stored and how much room they have for storage. And like notably never addresses the fact that no one is here and that it is a ghost town. It's very strange, but she doesn't. It doesn't seem to bother her.
I think at some point you get a knowing look from Hanar, who just gives you a solemn nod that I think is probably approving. But she doesn't say anything since you didn't bring it up. So here's a question. How are you going to get Baramy to assess what is salvageable here, since other than the one guard booth, all the buildings are underwater? It's less of an issue for the three of you because you plant people can hold your breath extraordinarily long, and Dorothy just doesn't breathe.
And I'm a sin against God, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, sure.
Possibly extremely literally.
Oh, stop. I do like that you're probably V is just considering this now too. Like, oh, you have to breathe, do you? Oh.
Right. Oh, I beg your pardon.
We do have some other root walkers in the crew. It's not going to help get Baramy down there necessarily, but
that is true. Who are the other root walkers?
And there's some Saurians too, right?
Tika Tide Hunter is a swamp clutch Saurian.
And
So
Ezekiel is also a Saurian, and so is Salome. So yeah, you've got some crew who can handle this, but again, doesn't help with Baramy, who's a Kadum.
I think that the plan is to send our very good swimmers down to assess the place and bring back samples, and just sort of say with their mouths what is in the storerooms.
Okay, so let's see. Here is sort of a quick summary of what all is down there. Actually, I think this is a group search check.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're sort of, looking high and low through this place, right, to find the valuables.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Who has the it's the highest search that matters? Yeah. So what's the search for each of you?
2.
1.
6.
Okay, so Dorothy, you're making the roll.
Okay. It would make sense that I don't know, it's just creeping around at night.
Oh, speaking of, did you want to are you still in bigger Dorothy mode around the crew? Is that something you were interested in maintaining?
Yeah, I figure that it'll come up when Viper comes to tell me, because I have to decide if I'm going to appear as bigger Dorothy or if I'm just gonna hide in a knapsack.
Dorothy comes to get when Viper comes to get you, she's like, so the ship's here, so if you're gonna put your face on, now's the time to do it.
Can I hide in your backpack until I'm needed?
Yeah, there's room.
Thank you. Crawl up in there.
Okay.
I only got a 9.
Do you want to spend any action dice?
Yeah, sure. And I can only spend 1, 2. So 11.
11. Okay. So I don't if there is anything in this community that is like hidden, you don't find it.
Yeah.
But you do find like, there's I think 6 residences in this community, and then there's the manufacturing place, which as you're looking through it, you realize is like a bookbinding facility. So that is a scribe's workshop if you want to bring it wholesale with you onto the ship or the townhouse, or can be broken down into 5 scribes kits, much like the chemistry workshop / kits that you found in the laboratory. And so in that bookbinding place, they're turning basically like various sea animals into, sea vellum. And you can also see that they've got a space where they process squids for their ink. And much like what you saw in the lab, they've got the tools here for writing are less of like quill and pen and more of like a tattoo gun that they tattoo the books so they can survive underwater. Yeah. Let's see, what else is there? There is a good bit of food in that food storage place. You can see that there is both like raw fish that have been like prepared, and you can see that whatever since Dorothy's actually the one doing the searching, this makes a lot of sense. You can see that there is a similar set of markings in the food storage space as there was in the funerary space.
I knew it.
Because there is indeed some like essentially smoked fish in there. So there's both raw and prepared fish, and also similarly prepared sea plants. Yeah. So there's a variety of foods down here. I think there's also probably like alcoholic beverage that you find down here, which it's unclear what it is made from, but it is not familiar to any of you. But definitely you can taste the alcohol. It's fermented something that'll get you drunk.
I'm trying to remember what the Scandinavians have, this like fermented herring or something.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the thing you're talking about, but I don't know the word for it. So yeah, I think that there is like there's 10 items. Someone should write this down. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
But next to the harbor, spoils.
So there is 10 things of booze, 50 things of rations, and there is 100 common meals. But you should note that those are all fish.
I will not note that.
Well then. So yeah, that's what's in there, and then of course there's the chemist's kits and scribes kits if you are breaking those down, or you can keep them all as a workshop.
Okay.
Now, is that moving that onto the ship, or is that stationary here in the crèche?
if you want to keep it as a workshop, you can move it onto the ship, for transport to the townhouse, or leave it here if you want to try and like start setting up a community on this island.
I see.
Um,
I'm just checking when common meals spoil because I don't know if we want to take all 100. If that is, I don't want a whole hold filled with spoiled fish.
Well, we have 27 crew members that all need at least one common meal every day. So
yeah,
But one common meal is used 3 times.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so to be clear, I'm not gonna don't worry about the food spoiling.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, unless you're like your journey is not that far back to Enclave. Remember, it's like
Okay.
a 2-day trip, if I recall correctly, day and a half, something like that. So yes, there's also some kind of liquid bubbling away in the laboratory, which is unclear what that is. So you
Add that to the other unidentified vials of juice we got off the spellcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna check if I could be poisoned.
I'm gonna say that you're able to get like 3 vials out of what was currently cooking away in the chemistry set.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for the residences, you find, we'll say about 200 silver of like semi-precious stones, pearls. You actually find some coin from like land dwellers in amongst some of the like knickknacks. Yeah, let's see. Is there anything else of note? I think that's it. I think that's like, unless you want to start like taking their furniture or like trying to move the table from the funerary site. You know, like if you want to start trying to, you know, start prying anything up that is, if you want to start trying to take the stuff that is nailed down, you know, then we can start talking about it. But you've got everything that isn't.
I think I tell the crew to, you know, continue doing this. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to go and find Viper. And sort of quietly, I say, well, now that we have hollowed out this outpost, what would you like to do with it? Shall we leave it here? Shall we burn it to the ground? Shall we bring people from the university who desperately wanted to go somewhere?
Well, unless they can live in underwater buildings, it's not going to be of too much use to them. There are trees here, which is more than we can say for the area around Enclave.
There certainly are.
So they could build. That much is true. I don't know how safe the actual island is.
Well, it is sacred
Worse.
to you, certainly. So
It's not the. It was not the place that was sacred. It's what happened here, and that's been all but washed away at this point.
all but.
Well, what's left of it is currently practicing breaching on the other side of the reef over there.
I see. No,
It's not the place I left.
No, it isn't. You're right in that the island is not safe. There were sparked on the way back to the ship, but they didn't give me trouble, which was interesting.
Hmm.
They tried to, but it seemed more like territorial activity than it was mindless violence.
Hmm.
But it is a thing to consider, certainly.
Yeah.
Do we find out what happened to
Voice coming from my
muffled?
back.
What happened? Hey, should we find out what happened to your people here? And see if we can regather them and reestablish this place for them? 9 years isn't so much time in the great scheme of things.
That's true. It'd be nice to know, although at this point, I'm not incredibly hopeful that things will be in any array that I remember, but it'd be good to know.
Was this the town that you lived in, or is that further on?
Yes, where would we start?
The actual village that would be attached to the creche would be inland enough to be basically completely on dry land. Probably in the middle or the edge of the cypress swamp.
All right, well, we have our people situated. We have the whales as free as they're bound to get. We have the time if you want to go.
We have the supplies to last our crew for as long as it takes.
Yeah, that much is true. We were on a tighter schedule before now. Well, let's check out this forest.
Excellent.
Okay. V and Viper, I think that the two of you can increase your connection with each other for that scene, since, you know, you're having a... V, you were asking after Viper's desires of what to do with this space.
Sure. Let's figure out what's right there soon.
Okay, so the three of you, plus, of course, Gentleman, Moose, Dog, and Rosemary, Foxglove. Moose and not Squirrel. You march your way through the brackish waters, first deeper into the swampy forest, and then moving later and later out. And you notice again, as a reminder, when you were coming into the coming towards the harbor, you'd seen that there had been symbols carved onto the trees, and you'd managed to intuit that they indicated the level of salt in the water, right? And that it had gotten obviously it had been less salty the further from the harbor that you got. And so you can see that there's similar markings on the trees, even though you're going in a different direction than the one you came in. Because if I'm understanding this correctly, you're sort of going north. Is that fair to say, Hadrian?
Yes. Yeah, because we're on the southern edge of the island.
Yeah, or would it be more easterly towards the mountain range that is on the island?
I envision this place as being like fully within a forested area, so that could be in a foothill
Yeah.
if we head that direction, just as easily as it could be on, the flat swamp area.
Well, I think it's sort of more of like, what do you imagine this village to be? Is it like amongst the foothills, or is it, on the plains between, like strip of plains between the northern coast and the swamp to the south?
Let's say it's sort of on the edge of the swamp and the plain area.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a place. It's a place where it would seem like it was still on solid ground, but there would still be like wooden planks to walk on, so you don't sink when it's slightly damp.
All right. So you head that way, and the trees begin to thin out, as does the ground begin to dry, although, as Hadrian just said, it never quite firms up. It stops being, like an inch of water and instead becomes 3 inches of mud. And
Love my home.
And so, Hadrian, what do all of you see as you like break? It is amongst the trees, you said.
Yeah, I'm envisioning. This was a pretty small community of elves, so it's I'm thinking leaning into some more commonly accepted tropes of what you would expect an elven village to look like.
So, treehouse type shit.
Yeah, treehouse type shit.
That
Oh, yeah.
is great because I have a token handy for that.
Yay!
Okay. And we'll just slide that there. All right. So yeah, what do you all see? What, Hadrian? What does the group see as you approach this village? And what's its name? What was its name? Because it is
See,
now
I knew
empty.
you were going to ask me that, and I only started thinking about it about 35 seconds ago. So Okay.
If you want, you can just give it a very
Great.
like mundane name and then say, like it sounds different in Elvish, of course.
Of course it does.
Gravetown. Whale babies.
It's gonna be Ashwood, just Ashwood.
Ashwood. Great. Okay. All right. So what does it look like?
As stated previously, some treehouse shit. We will start seeing the planked walkways start showing up around the edges where there would be perhaps a small fishing hole or what maybe used to be a rice paddy or something. And no large buildings, just like individual family unit homes for the most part. And they're more or less sort of built into the trees. And there are some suspended walkways in the canopy, but largely they're on the ground.
Okay. So yes. What was this place like when you last left it, Viper?
It was really like a familial village. It was one of those places where almost everybody is related, second cousins, and probably not any farther away than that.
So this is just Louisiana.
You got me.
Living in a swamp.
Okay.
So you didn't know it was a Creole elf, did you?
Aw. And I, by the way, am not despairing Louisiana at all.
I'm from Georgia, so come on.
Okay. So it sounds like it was probably like very informal sort of place. I imagine I can hear one parent hollering at the children of another of their neighbor to like
Yeah.
be careful.
I mean, yeah, this is not like an organized town. This was a place where a small group of elves that were dedicated to raising the Graven Guard lived. And that's what they did. The villages around would have provided any trade they needed, for general goods and whatever. But there's not like elaborate shops for craftsmen or anything like that here.
Yeah.
This was a family home.
Yeah. More of like a sprawling ranch than a town.
Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of sea hippies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's certainly no calling of children now here. You can spot the telltale signs of sparked damage in the area. You can see that there's a broken railing up like on one of the walkways amongst the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And there are burn marks. I think that there's probably a rope ladder where just like the bottom half of it was burned away, and the upper half far above all of your heads, it just like ends in charred rope. You can also see that there's places of like last stands being attempted, where furniture was shoved up as barricades against like walkways between these canopies, and it is quiet here. What do y'all want to do?
Well, I don't know whether I'm extra disappointed or somewhat relieved that it's more or less exactly as I expected it to be.
He puts a hand on Viper's shoulder. Doesn't have the words.
That's fine. She'll put her hand on top of your hand. Just hold it for a second.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a look to see if there's signs that some people packed up and left?
Yeah, let's do that. On that rope ladder going upstairs, I'll just lift Dorothy up. Can you see? Check out up top for us, because I don't think either one of us could get up there.
So, sorry to interrupt this moment, but does anyone want to activate a critical error?
Yeah? What? Yes. What? Absolutely. Where is that coming from?
With that ambush that's about to happen to us, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, I've activated it. It's activated.
Okay. What was one of the names of one of the kids when you were last here, Viper?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. What's a good kid name? How about Otis?
Ooh.
Otis. Okay. All right. So an arrow goes whizzing by, like just between the three of
As
you.
we're having our quiet moment where I'm just holding her hand on my shoulder and sort of looking forlorn.
Yeah, this arrow just goes whizzing by the three of you, and like goes into the bushes on the other side, and you hear a shout of pain. And so, Viper, do you speak Elvish, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. In Elvish, someone shouts from the bush, "Otis, you dumb motherfucker!" And we are going to end the session there for tonight.
So good.
At least they're not all dead.
Yeah, I'll consider that ending on a high note. Despite the fact that they actively tried to kill us at least once.
What's
That's
that
just a
about?
hello at this point.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to give you all 200 XP for securing the creche. But I think that's it for XP for this session.
Fun way to say thoroughly pilfering.
Well, what about satisfying funeral rites?
Yeah, okay. Alright. Take another 100 XP for that.
It would matter to the gods.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So I will take us back to the talk screen. So, thank you everyone for joining us on this pilfering adventure. I have been your host and GM for this evening, Austin Ramsey. You can find me on Twitter at NotAnIn, where you can also find the You Don't Meet in an Inn podcast, which presents this stream. If you would like to check out any of my game design work, you can find it at austin-ramsey.itch.io. And this evening, I have been joined by Christine.
Hi, I've been Christine. I may continue to be Christine. Who knows? I am the creator of You Don't Meet in an Inn, and you can find me sometimes at the Twitter, usually not. And lately I've been working on visually redesigning Austin's short games for Fan Expo. So if you're at Fan Expo this month,
Yeah, the end of August. It is the 23rd or I think it's the 22nd to the 25th, but I will be there from the 23rd to the 25th.
yes. So Austin will be there, and I will have created some zines of his games for your enjoyment.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
prices TBD, depending upon costs of printing. Also joining us this evening has been Sasha.
Hey, I've been Sasha for the few hours I was here. You can find me on Twitter at Sasha_Renell. You can follow all my game dev stuff at tcabbage.
Thank you. And of course, last but never least, Hadrian.
That's me. I'm Hadrian. Find me on Twitter at Hadrian. And most recently today, I sort of half stole and half learned some JavaScript and made a name generator for Austin's game Beam Saber. put together with names from the community Discord, and let me tell you, there's some great ones on there.
I think someone rolled Riff Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I did really like Rip Railer. That's just got such good mouthfeel.
So if you're ever in need of some good space names, you can find that on my Twitter or the Not an Inn Twitter.
Yes. All right. So once again, thank you everyone so much for joining us this evening. We will be back again. Next week, but not the week after, because I will be at Fan Expo the week after. So we will be here next week, 6 p.m. EST on this channel. And before I let you all go,
a pirate's life for me.
I just want to remind you all.
I'm literally begging you.
Well, here's the thing. I can mute you all. Remember, everyone, don't get sparks.
God damn it, Otis.
Remember, everyone. God damn it, Otis.
See you all later.